We're covering the female reproductive system and we're focusing on the ovary. A female has two ovaries. They're about the size of an almond. In this picture, we're going to cover the follicular phase and the luteal phase. And basically what that means is we go through the ovarian cycle, which is a 28-day cycle as it corresponds to the uterine cycle. How do we look at the development of follicles? We will look at this picture and then we'll take a look at histology of an ovary to match the development as we talk about the progression to ovulation in pursuit of fertilization. When we talk about a follicle is essentially that you have these cells called follicular cells, and we'll see follicular cells as they wrap around the edge of the follicle. These follicular cells are producing the hormone estrogen. We'll see estrogen and a little bit of progesterone to help for the development of what we call the ovum or the oocyte. The oocyte is what's going to be ovulated on the 14th day of that 28-day cycle. When we look at an ovary, we'll see a bunch of follicles inside that we're trying to develop the eggs. When a female is born, they have about 1 million eggs inside the ovary. As they progress to about puberty and they hit their teens, we're down to less than that, roughly about 400,000. But if you think about it, for ovulation, you release one secondary oocyte or the ovum once a month. So if I start puberty at a point to where I'm going to progress once a month, that's 12 times a year, times about 40 years, I am looking at about 480 eggs total that are released by the ovaries. I have two ovaries. One ovary release an egg and then they tend to alternate. Then the next one release an egg. Sometimes though, they can release more than one egg. Sometimes those eggs can split and divide. That's where we end up with either fraternal or identical twins. But what we're doing is preparing each month in preparation for implantation into the uterus. If I start at the top here, and then if I just divide this whole section in half, this top half we're referring to the follicular phase, which is day 0 to 14 as we look at the development of a follicle. Once ovulation occurs at day 14, the rest of this we call the luteal phase. What we start out with are these primordial follicles, and primordial follicles are the egg nest is what we start with, that you may have 1 million at birth. What they end up doing is maturing within the ovary, and it takes about almost a year just to actually develop. And hormonally, they will start to speed up as we get closer to that year of development inside. And then one of these eggs will be chosen as like the best of the best based on hormonal development of which one's going to be released at day 14, which is ovulation. We start out as primordial follicles. They start to develop and they turn into a primary follicle. You could already start to see the separation that I have this secondary oocyte, which will become the ovum or the egg that will be released, and it's surrounded by all the cells, follicular cells, to produce estrogen, which promotes the development of the egg inside. It goes from a primary follicle to a secondary follicle to a tertiary follicle. Tertiary follicle you also hear as a mature Graafian follicle, also called a vesicular follicle. There's multiple names for it. This progression is how it's developing over that 14-day period in preparation for ovulation. On day 14, that secondary oocyte is going to be released and it starts to travel outside of the ovary into the uterine or fallopian tubes by way of the fimbriae. Remember, our optimum site of fertilization is going to be in that uterine tube roughly about a day or two after ovulation. The sperm only survives for about 5 days, roughly, depending on the health of the sperm and the status of the environment inside the female. We're looking to fertilize within the first 24 hours. The egg doesn't last that long. We're lucky if it even lasts more than 24 hours. So there's not much time there. If you think about the amount of eggs, 480 eggs can be ovulated over the course of a female's lifetime, and they're only good for 24 hours. It's amazing that we can even fertilize, but it happens. Nature finds a way because there's millions of sperm that are being released during ejaculation. We're using those numbers to increase that possibility of fertilization. When day 14 occurs and that secondary oocyte is released, it's going to make its way along the fallopian tube in preparation for fertilization. The body assumes you're going to fertilize. In the meantime, the remnants of this turns into this structure here that we call the corpus luteum. Corpus meaning body, luteum meaning yellow. This is remnants that we created from the follicle. The corpus luteum is now releasing primarily progesterone, and this hormone is going to help to create an environment in the uterus to prepare for implantation. The corpus luteum still has a functional piece to it as it produces the hormones to help support, if fertilization occurs, that we develop the lining of the uterus that we call the endometrium in preparation for fertilization. It'll gradually degrade and it'll stay active if there is fertilization that occurs for a little bit of time. If fertilization does occur, then as the actual egg divides and it turns into the placenta plus the developing embryo, it'll start producing those hormones to help the uterus develop. At that point, this structure, corpus luteum, degrades and turns into scar tissue that we call corpus albicans. Corpus, body, albicans, white. We call this the white body. At this point, this does nothing. It's just microscopic scar tissue at this point. Its primary role is help prepare the uterus in preparation of fertilization. I divide this again to our first 14 days is the follicular phase, develop the follicle. Then we call it the luteal phase because we're helping now to prepare the uterus using the corpus luteum. If we look at a microscopic view of this in the histology, the same things apply, but now we're looking at the ovary as I pull it down from a microscopic standpoint. This is the outside of the ovary, and if I look at that dark lining there, the dark lining is referred to as the germinal epithelium, which is the capsule of the ovary. When we look at this as a higher power magnification, this germinal epithelium is epithelial tissue, and it's specifically simple cuboidal epithelium. Remember, epithelial tissue has the ability to regenerate quickly. During ovulation, there's minor damage as we open up the ovary, so we use epithelial tissue to seal it back up. Deep to it, just like other organs, deep to it, now we have connective tissue. Where this gets to be a little bit of a lighter pink here, this is called the Tunica albuginea. Tunica albuginea is our fibrous connective tissue. It's our supporting tissue and it helps to where the actual organ, the ovary, doesn't rupture. It's that supporting tissue underneath, and then we could start to see our progression of the follicles that we're discussing in the picture. As I can see through here, this is all of that egg nest. So these are all my primordial follicles. Primordial follicles. Then they turn into 1, 2, and 3. So I have that progression of a primary follicle, of a secondary follicle, and then my Graafian follicle, which is my tertiary or vesicular follicle. You can start to see in the middle to where that ovum is developing, and there's different names for the stages, but that secondary oocyte is developing inside. What's surrounding it are the follicular cells. What do the follicular cells produce? The hormone estrogen, because it's promoting the development of the egg. As I look inside, this will gradually get closer and closer to one side. As I move over here, I have now, this is the secondary oocyte. It becomes larger in preparation for ovulation. This will be released during day 14 of ovulation and start to run up the uterine tube or fallopian tube, surrounded by all those follicular cells. And then within it, I have this fluid space that's nourishing fluid called the antrum. We see that predominantly in our Graafian or mature follicle because it's getting larger and larger and developing. Once this is released, remember that it turns into corpus luteum and then scar tissue, corpus albicans. This is a review of the ovary when we look at just the development of the follicles, the luteal phase, and then here's the histology of the ovary.